Hey guys, we're back. I'm gonna have another go at trying to figure out this ridiculous game. Like I say, I am enjoying the art style. I can't decide whether I'm enjoying, whether I really enjoy the game or whether I'm just curious or what. But it's certainly a new experience. So let's try and pick up from the most recent autosave. See, I thought it auto-saved when we were coming out of the van, but it doesn't seem to have that one here. But anyway, so let's pick up from this one. So low on morale, put points into volition. Right. Okay. That might help us from finishing the game. Oh, so we are here. Let's have a look. So what was the thing? So the thing that made me lose the game last time, or ended the game, was run your fingers over one of the steering levers. I wonder if the same thing happens if you tap on the... As you tap on the gauge, the indicator pin jerks as if startled. Seeing the large orange sector indicating the engine is warm. Next to the gauge is a red switch labelled heat. There's no use pressing the heat button, he says, and jingles his keys. It will start without the ignition key. Okay, translation, we're not going anywhere now. Okay, let's just, let's not end the game this time. Okay, so, moving swiftly on. Let's go back over this direction and check over this way. Okay, we've got someone over here, let's go speak to them. Oh, what's this first? This book has a rose, a pistol, and a half-naked dame on its cover. Okay. On the cover stands a very muscular man surrounded by flames. The book is titled "Man from Hjelmdal and the Wildfire." Okay. Book about pate. Blades, you gotta have it. This book, you don't really understand what it's about, nor does it seem important. Book about... Oh my days, Buadero culture, I guess. Book about the future, the government reads your mind using radio technology. Okay, let's talk to this person.
Hello, sir. Step right in. The store is open.
Okay. I am the law. Hi.
Are you interested in a new and exciting book?
Potentially.
It's a bookstore, sir. We sell books, postcards, and some board games. It's called Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People.
Okay. Lovely stuff. Yeah, it does feel inappropriate to lecture a girl. Don't be a fool. As an expert, it's your duty to tell what you know to everyone. Nah.
Sir, are you okay?
Not really.
You've been standing here silently for a while now.
Is it okay if I ask you some questions?
Okay, sir. I'll try to answer any questions you have. I hope they're about books.
My name is Annette, sir. My mom, her name is Pleasance. She owns a store. She's inside minding the register or organising stock. The girl gazes at the window, then suddenly jolts, her eyes wide as if recalling something. Feel free to step in and browse our wares. And you're standing out here in the cold because... Okay, I guess I will. Should be at school or something? What is this crime business? Who are these famous people? Oh, kings and queens and generals of old, or artists and writers, or musicians. Those kinds of people. There's usually something extraordinary about them. She scratches her cold reddened cheek, then continues. I think that's why people read them, to find the secrets of their fame. Seems like most people who read these books fail to get more famous from reading them. Okay. Shouldn't you be at school or something? I do my studies at home at the moment. I have to help Mom keep this place running. Feels weird saying Mom. And also what's weird is there's a lot of American like vocabulary, but then There's also a lot of English voice acting, and it's kind of messing me up in the head a little bit. She's obviously got a very English accent, but then there's... yeah, okay, interesting. Mum says it's necessary to do both because it builds character. Mum says a proper worker is dutiful. That's how you get ahead in life, you succeed. There is stress and unease behind these words. She's reciting etiquette. How's the business going? Mum says it's peachy. She was a little afraid at first. There's talk about this house being... She looks over her shoulder. Cursed. Cursed in what way? Cursed in a way that makes them say that no business has ever really thrived here, sir. That they all go... She's looking for the right word. Bankrupt? Exactly, but we've been doing fine so far. I don't think curses are real. They shouldn't be, but they seem real. Anyhow, they say that these grounds are doomed for businesses. It's just regular trading and selling of things. It doesn't work out for most. They're not doomed, but your mother should learn from their mistakes. Yeah. Of course, sir. She didn't know what else to say. What is this crime business? What is romance? Oh, we don't mean to... Okay. Let's go into the shop. Thought cabinet slots. Oh, forget old thoughts. Interesting. Okay, so here's the mum. Or the mom.
Welcome to Crime, Romance and Biographies of Famous People. My name is Plaisance.
Okay, that's how you pronounce that. Plaisance. Okay.
Be welcome. And please take responsibility for the energy you bring into this space.
Wow. I'm starting to realise why they're not selling much. So are you the owner of this store?
I am the proudest owner of our little shop of culture.
The voice is high-pitched, as if to give it more penetration. If I want to buy a book. Then why are you talking to me? Everything is on the shelves to browse. Don't you feel compelled to buy anything? She fiddles with a pendant, then waves her bony fingers directly at you. See those shelves there? Go, be drawn. Wow. Okay. So what types of books do you have? Everything is on the shelves. Take a look yourself. The shelves compel you, don't they? Not... Well, they might have done before all the superiority complex flooded down on us. But anyway, alright, I'll take a look then. She smiles and nods, seemingly relieved. Your daughter is the one standing outside the store, right? Annette, yes, my daughter. I hope she wasn't slacking off again with her nose in science fiction. Tell me, was she at her post doing her job like a proper girl? Yes, of course. Wonderful. Did you talk to her? Yes. Great. On the scale of 1 to 10, how compelled were you to buy books after talking with her? I'm not going to grade a human being. I don't do that. Yeah, okay, cool. Come now, it's not personal. It's about proper sales practices and market research. She crosses her arms. I expect an answer. Okay, 10. My precious, her dedication brings joy to my heart. She's immensely satisfied with the answer. If you have children, I hope they turn out as great as my Annette. I'm here to dismantle the free market and abolish child labour. I want to say it. Okay, do it. She rolls her eyes. You must be kidding. There's nothing like that happening. Depends. How much do you pay the kid? Good sir, what does a young child do with money anyway? No, I save it for her as a fund. She's securing her financial future out there. Okay, well, that's fair enough, to be fair. But, I mean, she should go to school. Such criminal behaviour would not happen in more developed countries. In some more developed countries, this sort of thing is 2 felonies, child labour and slavery. Oh, I guess I'm mistaken. Okay. Those countries will realise they've raised a lazy and spoiled generation. Her tone is decisive, not at all angry at the insinuation. Are we done with the jokes now? Yes, we've had quite enough fun here, right? Lieutenant taps his foot. Alright, Lieutenant. Okay, let's change the subject. Mention that this place is cursed. Cursed? Who said that? Annette? She blinks. I will have a word with her. This place is not cursed. It has a robustly magnetic energy, good for commercial activity. My business is thriving, sir. Farewell for now, book peddler. Oh. behind the curtain. What have we got? I'll check out this bookshop, I suppose. Sports magazines tucked away in a dark corner. Mountain of board games. Excellent. A small mountain of colourful board game boxes. There are numerous types of games for all ages. A lot of shelf space seems to be taken up by... This is interesting. Half of my family's from the Wirral, so I wonder if that's, with the accent, it's supposed to be pronounced Wirral or something like that, but that just jumped out at me anyway. Taken up by Wirral related merchandise. Storekeep. What board games do you have here? Look through the pile. Yeah, I don't want to talk to them. An endless variety of source books, law books, and codices litter the table. The topmost book is titled Welkin Compendium, 2nd edition. There's also a large hardbound tome with intricate cover art. The Hunters of Katuak, Boreal Creature Compendium, and a Pick Your Path adventure game book titled The Tales of Wirral Cavern of Velkrag. Interesting. Books in a board game section? Who wants to read books? Well, people. Anything that really catches my eye? There's a box that says Wirral 3rd edition Mega Setting Supplements module. The side panel notes a fantastic adventure board game, new maps and miniatures. A sticker on it displays 25 real. That price is steep, but then it's a 3rd edition Mega Setting Supplement, so it makes sense. Yeah, we don't have 25 what is it, real or real or whatever. Anyway, so let's leave. What's over on this? Man from Hjelmdal series. The display rack is brimming with worn paperbacks featuring an extremely muscular sword-wielding barbarian on the cover. Nearly all the titles contain the word Hjelmdal somewhere. Look through the display books. Rows and rows of Hjelmdalemen blur your vision. You make out some titles: Man from Hjelmdal and the Mammoth Riders. Man from Hjelmdal, Return to Hjelmdal, and the solipsistic Man from Hjelmdal and the Hjelmdalmen. Good God, how many are there? Maybe 100. Man from Hjelmdal and the Sages at the End of the World. Man from Hjelmdal and the False God. Man from Hjelmdal and the Scorched Earth. Man from Hjelmdal, the Hjelmdal Colonies. This is tough to say. Man from Hjelmdal and the Swamp Beast. And then Man from Hjelmdal and the Snow Crabs. Enough. Yes, enough. Pain threshold, medium 10. Do any of the books call out to me? Let's do it. Fairly, okay. Leave. What's molten candy? I don't know, but it sounds good. Okay. Let's go up the old stairs. Shelf of crime novels. These shelves are overburdened with books from the same series. You see the name Dick Mullen over and over. So that's the guy that they were near the end of the last episode, that the police officers were joking that I was for losing all my badge and my gun. A couple spook novels hide amidst all the detective books. Thrilling tales of spycraft and daring do. Okay. Look through the books. Crime fiction is a disgrace, an asinine misrepresentation of the physical attributes and the arduous everyday work of actual police officers. These books greatly overstate the excitement of police work, glossing over how long it takes to actually follow up on leads and eliminate dead ends. What's more, they completely ignore the psychological hardships of year after year coming into contact with people during the worst days of their lives. Not a single mention of all the stress this work creates upon the officer's family. Detective fiction just doesn't tell the truth at all. Now, would you like a list of the books found on the shelf? Oh god, no. We're not going through that again. Shelves filled to the brim with crime novels featuring the supposedly... Yeah, okay. That's... moving swiftly on. A quaint picture book brochure, very colourful. It's a term of fascist magic, rather candid. Yeah, well, yeah. The plaque on the shelf reads, biographies of the famous people. You see a large variety of names, none of which ring a bell. Browsing through all the books with all their names makes your head spin. None of these seem important or relevant. It's just vapid egoism. Yeah, there's around about Christmas time, you get these like kind of sways of biographies come out, which are the vast majority blatantly not written by the people who are on the covers. All like ghostwritten, and it's money, so many money grabs. But yeah, that paragraph encapsulates that quite well. Suddenly, a particularly odd title catches your eye. It reads, High Speed Love, the tragic true love story of Jacob Ear and Alfie Delatraz by one Cecilia Averbrook. I don't want to know what it's about. High Speed Love chronicles the romance between two of the finest tip-top tourney racers in history. One of them is the madcap driver, Jacob Ear. His blonde mane graces the cover. Next to Ear's life story, you see a slim biography of an Occidental rock star called the Anti-Star. He's famous for shooting morphine into one of his eyeballs and cocaine into the other. Next to that, Revacholian radio personality Guillaume Bevy stands in front of a rundown drug den. He's a permanent fixture on Channel 8, reporting on real-life crime and ruining cops' days. I really must insist you buy one of these books. You're interrupted by the shopkeep. Reading them is not for free. Do still browse though, but not too long. I'm sorry, I did not mean to rush you. You are browsing. Go ahead, take your time. Time is commerce. Something not quite right about her. But then, there's also something that I've been realising is the, is that the one that we just checked out? Oh, yeah, okay. One thing that I have noticed so far is the tone of this game seems to vastly change, like minute to minute, which is interesting. Map wall. Several maps have been attached to a bulletin board hidden inside the alcove. They're held up by small pins. The board has come loose from one corner. The maps look old and faded. Your eye catches a map of Inchilinder, a map of Revachol, and a map of Martinez. The large map displays archipelago. I never know how to pronounce this. Archipelagos. You see a constellation of small dots on the light blue emptiness of the Insulindic Ocean. The largest in the northeast is Lakailu. You are here. Another far away in the southwest, Seminese Islands, Isle de Fantôme. Mapwell. Azon, Laurentide, Face à la Mer, Archipelagos. God damn it, that was catching me up. North Arcade Islands, all just specks of dust on the vastness of the Insulindic. On the edges of the map, the colour fades into a blur of dotted lines, black and white. Okay. Disintegrating into mathematics. Squint first. Can you see cities on the islands? Look at the edges. The ocean breaks apart into a tangle of cosines and azimuths, all pointing into a pale nothingness. Mundi is the north azimuth, Grad is the northeast azimuth, Samara is the east azimuth, Seoul is the west azimuth, and Isola as they are called. Okay. You have little idea what they are, distant stars, gods, but looking at them makes you feel almost non-existent. Whatever they are, the Isolas are immeasurably large compared to you and very far away. Perhaps they are gods of distance and of the dust. Starkeep, can I buy these maps? I'm sorry, obviously the map of Martinez is the only one available. The other two are not for sale anymore, and besides you could scarcely afford them. Quite valuable, though they might not look it. The map of Martinez is 90 cents though. Why is the one of Martinez so cheap? That old thing, it's an out-of-date map of a tourist location that never was nor came to be. From when some design studio people tried to spruce the place up 4 or 5 years ago, they also renovated the horse statue, set up those coin-operated viewers, and designed the new street lamps. The place does not look like a successful tourist trap, does it? what happened then? They didn't get far. For some reason, a shame the project never got going. Would be nice if someone picked Martinez up. All his dreams off of business. Okay. I mean, we do have a good chance of stealing it, but let's just buy it. Okay. So, I'm just hoping that I can use that map to cover my face so that I can take the body down. This map, this bookstore is not strictly about crime, romance, and biographies of famous people. There's also a wide range of paranatural literature, which I am not interested whatsoever. So let's leave. Oh, is that something else? Another boring book, just discarded here. Okay. I wonder how quickly she's gonna knock us into next week if we try going into here. Closed curtains. You see a set of tattered curtains blocking the way to another room. A strange cage-like trinket dangles from the curtains.
Excuse me, officer. The back room is strictly for employees only.
What's behind the curtains, eh? Nothing. Now, please go back to browsing books. She fiddles with a pendant. Don't you feel compelled to look at the books? The books are all you care about. She like try to do some Darren Brown style suggestion salesmanship of some description. She speaks almost as if she's trying to put a spell on you. Yeah, this is what I mean, urging you to buy more books. Oddly enough, the more she tries to draw you away from the curtains, the more alluring they become. Pull open the curtains. Just as you're about to pull apart the curtains, the petrified voice of the shop owner cries out once more. Sir, don't touch that. I told you it's off limits for the customers. Her hand is closed around a pendant, her fingers nervously playing with the talisman. Parapsychologically speaking, we're done if you decide to open them. I won't be held responsible for the consequences. It's too dangerous. She looks away mumbling, why is everyone always messing with the curtains? Why can't they just buy books like normal people? This is about the curse, that's why you're afraid. Man, this is different. I'm a police officer, I need to get in there. But I sense this... Okay. Here we go, police officer angle. Why? It's not like anyone was killed there. She stops abruptly as her hand flies over her mouth, baffled by her own bluntness. Okay. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be so impolite. Just please don't go there. I can't allow that. You'll only make things worse and unleash the powers. The curtains do seem frail suddenly, not robust enough to contain a slippery darkness. This is about the curse, this is why you're afraid. No, it's just a storeroom for the employees, I told you. Now please step away from the curtains. But man, are you not curious? Let's go. No, she raises her hand to try and stop you. Please just talk to me, officer. Come here and let's talk this thing through before you decide to do anything extreme. Anything extreme? What are you hiding? Talking is always good. Go see what she has to say. Examine the strange cage-like trinket. You see some kind of charm, an irregular polyhedron assembled from bones, sticks and straws. Inside, a disturbing fish head with empty eye sockets stares at you. From the looks of it, this is a traditional Seminese ward, meant to provide protection against ill luck, bad dreams, curses and other supernatural scourges. And who are the Seminese? Inhabitants of Isle de Fantôme, the Seminine Islands down south. Aside from poking at it suspiciously, there is nothing else to do with the fish head charm at this time. The curtains remain shut before you. Man, if this ends the game... You see a dimly lit room full of dusty furniture and trash. A doorway stands in the back, covered in dozens of scary little Seminese wards, your shadow looming over it like an omen. I warned you, you are unleashing forces beyond your understanding. Are we? Ghostly silhouettes of hairdryers. Okay. No, changed my mind, I love this game. A vaguely androgynous portrait of a man. Okay. Merely looking at that unmanly haircut threatens your masculinity. Warded door. A heavy door with a missing handle stands before you, covered in dozens, if not hundreds, of Seminese trinkets and charms. It appears to be locked. We're low chance of that, so let's knock. Only an echo, no one is there. A hollowed out dark echo. Okay. So, we've no chance really, but let's what? No, fail. Oh. Oh, damage health. Oh, okay. Ow, shoot, whose moronic idea was to just run through the door? Don't you know that things like that hurt? Okay, good try. This really wasn't the best idea, was it? Okay, yeah. Are you alright? The lieutenant steps closer, his eyes soft and worried. This looked pretty intense and painful, I must admit. What is going on there? An upset, high-pitched voice calls out from the bookstore. Are you really trying to break down the back door? I warn you, don't tempt the spirits, officer. You can hear her take a frightened step backwards. Don't tempt the spirits or you'll damage the holy wards on the door. It barely looks like you've done any damage to the door, however. It's still locked and closed, covered in dozens of little charms and trinkets. Okay, well, we can't do anything else now, can we? Okay. So we've got weird mystery door of I don't believe that there's bad spirits in there. It's just me though. Who knows what the paranormal kind of stuff is like in this world.
Every snowflake is like a little gift from the sky.
No, I thought we'd be able to get new dialogue from her after speaking to her mum. Right, so what have we got here? I think I need to be leveling up. I think I've got more. Let's level up. Oh, wait. So I think we need to upgrade volition, don't we? Because it was saying that we were. I think that might be one of the reasons why we died. Endurance, pain threshold, encyclopedia. I mean, I'm not sure that the knowledge has done us a lot of favours, to be honest. It's just given us a lot of background information. Visual calculus, sexualization drama, play the actor lie and detect lies. That sounds interesting. Rhetoric, practice the art of persuasion, enjoy the rigorous intellectual discourse. So these are our what we specialise in, I suppose. Endurance, pain threshold, physical instrument, like composure, coordination, perception. Now you'd think that perception is going to be very useful to us, wouldn't you? Let's just level it up. Okay, that's cool. And then we've got new things in inventory. This is what we took from the truck, I believe. Flashlight, chain cutters and pry bar. Close. Okay, interact. Use the interact button in inventory to inspect the item. Okay. The one map features the patchwork grid of streets of Martinez with directions to appropriately touristy locations. Year 48 resides on the upper right corner. Trace a path through the grid. Your finger moves through the various streets across Rue de Saint Ghislaine and Rue de Saint Cisper, over Saint Bruno and Martinez north, finally coming to a halt on the spot where you are currently standing, although the map gives no such indication itself. For a more detailed view of the map, go to your journal and then the map tab. Okay. So journal, map. Okay, so this is where we are. Church, fisherman shack, Martinez, waterfront. Where are we? That's the question here. I don't know. Somewhere over here, maybe? Well, where's the... Oh, that's the traffic jam. That's where... That's the building we start in, our residence. That's where the dude's hanging. Okay. So that's the way to get to waterfront, fisherman shacks, church. The hanged man. Okay, let's have a look. Tasks. Inspect victim's body. You just need to suppress the urge to throw up and approach it. Which is, we did try, but it didn't give us any options really, did it? This might take some time. Track down your badge. Miracles happen, and track down your gun. Okay, so we don't have much going on. Okay. I'm wondering whether or not just to go back and see if I didn't miss anything when we went round to the body. There's this, doorbell that we can try a load of different people on. But I just want to see if we can interact with this in any way, shape or form. Now, oh, what have we got here? There are several footprints in the mud left by work boots. Anywhere from 6 to 12 pairs have walked here. Get an exact count. Okay, let's try. So maybe more than 12. No, 8 pairs of boots have shuffled back and forth in the mud. Go over them one by one. Standard work boot, steel reinforced toes, number 56. Standard work boot, steel reinforced toes, number 54. Hobnailed work boot, steel reinforced toes, number 43. Standard work boot, no, 45 or 46. Wait, which is it? You don't know if it's a miracle. It's a miracle you can tell the prints apart as it is. The cold must have preserved them. Okay, count more. 5, another standard work boot, steel reinforced toes, number 54. An aberration, light as air, even pace, same make of boot, but number 41. Male or female? Possible to tell, could have also been an adolescent, the gait is undeveloped. Count the rest. The glowing outline of a standard work boot, number 46, but the imprints are twice as deep as the others, the weight exceeds 200 kilograms. And yet another standard work boot, number 44, there's an aberration in the pattern of the sole, however. The right sole is smoother, more worn. How many, the lieutenant has been tracking your eyes' movements? 8. 400 million. I was pretty off then, I counted 20. The same guys are going back and forth. I never get the hang of it. Hyperopia, he points to his glasses. Do you see anything out of the ordinary? Light step, number 41, shoe, heavy one, 2. Light step, number 41, shoe, a woman or a kid? I don't think there's any way to be well, it said it was an undeveloped gait, didn't it? So you would imagine it was a child, but we're guessing at that point, so yeah, I don't think there's any way to be sure. Understood. Anything else? Heavy one, 200 kilogram imprint. 200 he thinks remote. Could it be the combined weight of 2 people, one carrying the other who's tied up? Let's say a heavily built worker carrying a similarly built, soon-to-be dead man. He might be right, 200 kilograms of living weight is unlikely. One of them was carrying him over, maybe it was a giant, it could have been an extremely obese person. I don't know. I mean, you've got to imagine that someone was carrying him anyway, wouldn't you? But again, we're guessing, we don't know. I do. The lieutenant marks something in his notebook. One of them carried him over. Okay. But why? I'm thinking, why did they have to carry him? Yes, they could have used a makeshift stretcher or just marched him up to the gallows. Maybe the victim refused to walk to his own lynching. Maybe the victim wasn't conscious. Our reading of these prints could be wrong. I'm not assuming it isn't, but it's still helpful. Is there anything else? An aberration, one sole is smoother than the other. Interesting. Let's name it the odd sole. Do you have any ideas, Lieutenant? Someone operating a workbench with a pedal, like a joiner at the harbour, he thinks for a second. Or maybe it's a drummer. A drummer? That's stupid. Oh, so one of the people looking for is a drummer. No, it's not. Forget I said it. We're not looking for a drummer. Okay. He raises his index finger. Perhaps it could be a driver. The driver would wear out their right shoe before the left. The accelerator is on the right. I was actually thinking the exact same thing. He doesn't seem to hear you, looking south toward the traffic jam instead. The machines are silent, the engines are all turned off. We should keep our eyes open around the traffic jam to see whether anyone strikes out as a potential suspect. Seems prudent, no? Yes, prudent. Okay. How old do you think these tracks are? A week maybe? 7 days would fit the time frame provided to us by the caller who reported the hanging. It's not impossible. How do you know? I pulled last week's forecast for coastal Revocol. 7 days below freezing. The day before, the day of his hanging, was the last warm day. Correct again. Sub-zero temperatures will preserve the tracks in a good state. Commotion here could have taken place a week ago. So what do you think happened here? What do I think? A mob of people brought something heavy to the tree. One of them was carrying the victim. They shuffled around, especially under the tree. Then after hoisting him up, they stood in a semicircle facing his direction. At first glance, this appears to be a lynching. Indeed, they all stood in a row here and looked at the tree. Yes, everything fits so well. Carried him over, hoisted him up, watched him hang. This is easy. I think we have a firm understanding of what happened here. The lieutenant's eyes narrow. He's thinking to himself. He concludes, what else? We've been through all of it so far. Okay. Is there any way we can cut this body down? Because it's annoying me that it's... Try to walk away. Too late, impossible to keep it in. Your body curls and pushes it out burst by burst, so the pool of vomit lies under your feet and your throat stings from the stomach acid. The smell of Commodore Red rises from the pool, among it distilled spirit and bits of shish kebab. It's okay, it happens to everyone. The lieutenant hands you his white handkerchief. Keep it. Thanks. The hangover is clearly making this worse for you. You could use some ammonia to clear your head. Okay, where do we get ammonia from? That young woman the gardener mentioned, she used salts for the smell. He nodded towards the plaza. If she doesn't have any there might be some in the Fritz store nearby. Okay, having the ammonia is a modifier to the insurance check. Modifiers make checks easier and allow you to retry them. Okay. So we can go get some ammonia and come back. Right, so we just needed to do a bit more. I was thinking that we could have done something there. Still wearing these gloves. Like the fashion legend that we are. Over here.
I can't believe it's snowing again. It felt like springtime just a few days ago.
Oh, nice. She gives us some salt, and let's go back. Cheers. I'll tell you what, after playing Dark Souls and Age of Empires, it's quite nice to have a point and click, chilled out, story based, almost kind of like, well, it's a black comedy so far, I would guess. So hang on a second, we need to use the salts. Turn away, leave. Okay. Inventory, items. Salt. Can we use? Held. Or is it just in the option now? Still +1 has ammonia. Okay. And we still failed, okay. The ammonia didn't help at all. Nor does the wind right now, okay. Seeing strong men turn themselves inside out for hours. You're facing tough odds here. Alcohol withdrawal makes it considerably harder. I've seen captains puke their guts out. It never gets easier. You never get used to the smell. Every Monday is cadaver day. Throw up, investigate. Throw up, initial autopsy. Throw up, bag it. You pat you on the back again. You seem to be fine. I think I've lost my sense of smell. White lie. Okay. Not being hungover helps too. Do it without me. I just can't keep it down. No, this is a two-man assignment because it needs 2 officers to complete. I need your help. He withdraws his hand and looks you in the eye. Get your shit together. Okay. Thought gained. Volumetric shit compressor. We should go talk to the locals. Find something else to do while the wind changes. It's pretty bad right now. You have received a thought. When this dialogue is over, go over to your thought cabinet to equip it. Volumetric shit. Okay. Shit is a part, and it's rather unbecoming of a cop and a human being. It's supposed to be the opposite of that, together, compressed in a small area. To achieve a solid level of compression, squeeze your butt cheeks together for 30 minutes. Do something similar with the 2 hemispheres of your brain. Talk to people, maybe that will help. Internalize. Okay. So... temporary research bonus, non-research time. Okay, so we have to research it for 30 minutes. So I guess that's us going and talking to the rest of the people, which we've already done. Okay. What's in the journal here? Pet victim's body. Okay, so yeah, we just gotta do that now. Let's ring this doorbell, see if we can talk to some of these people. So we're what, 12:29, so we need to get to 1 o'clock. All call box with the matrix of push buttons lists all the companies in the East Delta Commerce Centre. Okay. The main hall building A. Kuno, please stop calling here. Grown-ups don't have time for your stupid games. It's Plaisance. She thinks you're the gremlin child. What would he say to this? Plaisance, it's me. Please open the door. I'm trying to get in. I'm sorry, officer. I thought you were... There's a spot of static that overrides her words. But the doorbell is broken and the bookstore shouldn't even be on the list anymore, so I can't help you. Please don't call her again. Thanks. Bye. Oh, bye. Andrew Orlando Hair SCA. No one answers. What an ominous name for a hair salon. Doesn't bode well for anyone's hair. Temi Temps of boxing for young athletes and gym. Static. 24-hour window. Nothing happens. Emma's flashing into the air. Get for a minute or two, but all you get from the call box is silence. Fabron's taxi. Looks like someone has melted half the plastic off with a lighter. The doorbell doesn't work. Slipstream SCA. Pick the receiver, but it doesn't say anything. You can almost hear them breathe. Hello, is there anyone there? Yes, hello, this is Tricentennial Electrics. This is a woman's voice, crackling and fragile through the static. Have you come to place an order? She sounds almost antique, as if her voice was being played off an old wax cylinder. The receiver must not be working properly. Wait, but what happened to Slipstream SCA? There's no Tricentennial Electrics on the list. Hold on, Tricentennial Electrics? No, I was calling Slipstream. My god. Lieutenant exchanges a look with you, sorry. It's you. My god, I didn't think I would hear your voice again. She must be mistaking you for someone else. Who cares that you don't remember her? Just go along with it. Yeah, it's me. Here I am again, crawling back into your life. Okay. Mikael, just please. She stops, and you can hear her breathe heavily, her breath distorted by ancient static. Why did you even call? I don't understand. You've been gone for months. She sounds like she is shaking. I thought you didn't care. Of course I care, it's just like me going through a tough time. Ever since I came to work here, it's been different, as if my mind's been wiped clean. A spot of static overrides her words. When she speaks again, it sounds like she's submerged. It's so nice. So nice to be able to finally forget. Forget about what? She sounds like she's about to cry. Oh God, please don't cry. She doesn't answer. You said it was nice. What's so nice about forgetting? Silence. The only thing you can hear now is static in the waves. What just happened? Another seagull passes by. It's getting cold, standing near, staring at the silent cold box. I don't know what happened either. The lieutenant inspects the doorbell. We should probably stop playing with this thing. Okay, goodbye. Fortress accident, SCA. Silence, no turn. Revicholis City. Silence. Whirling in wrecks. They don't want to talk to you. East Delta Pinball, entrance from building B. Empty card. This button looks new, but someone has removed the name card. Nothing happens when you try to ring it. This button looks new. It's probably not connected yet. It takes a step back, inspecting the other names on the list. Okay. So, that didn't really pan out to anything, did it? Shall we've got this, well, 15 minutes left, I suppose, to kill. Shall we see what happens if we go talk to that guy at the top? The union guy. I'll tell you, the music's doing a very good job at the moment of being interesting, but also just background music. But yeah, like I say, the tone seems to shift around in this game so often. Like 1 minute there'll be just a load of cursing and random stuff, and then the next it's all very proper and game-like. So it's a very interesting mix. I don't quite know where to put it at the moment. In case of a strike, press button behind guard. And what's this? A hermetically sealed door locked by electronic means. Okay. Talk to you. Can we talk to just that guy, I think? Yeah, probably.
Your body betrays your degeneracy.
It's an interesting start.
Yeah, Measurehead. His body totally betrays his degeneracy.
Are you admiring my morphophysiology? It must be frightening to stand in the shadow of this racial pinnacle. Be calm, Sandwich. You are not in danger because you are not a threat to me. You have succumbed to Al-Ghul. You reek of it. An invisible sword of Al-Ghul emerges from your throat. You cannot see it, but others can. It is making the woman in my company sick. Yes, Al-Ghul. I doubt it. My microcephalic race, so it's not good.
Thanks, Kim.
No, you don't. You need to get another drink. Occidental Haplogroup B4 is done giving orders around here. The influence of the ham sandwich race is reigning.
Yeah. Yeah, it does remind me of the guy down there.
Begging for help, attempting to pass fear for cooperation. How far the Occidental Haplogroup has fallen. You were once a noble and powerful race. You gave the world eugenics, electricity, and powerful weapons of war like missiles and aerostatic aircraft. You made great gains in metallurgy, race theory, and statecraft.
Why are these guys so obsessed about race?
You dominated lesser cultures, like the deformed Hemians and the inexplicably potato-obsessed Quakers. But now your ascent to the genetic summit has halted. You are obsessed with sadness and with frivolous pop culture. You will be superseded. Isn't that right, babe?
It is, baby, yeah. You know it.
The hell is this? I'm right behind him, just out of reach. It must be the one that opens the door to the harbour.
It is my task to keep the general comets from entering the yard. Enough with this begging. You should leave the stage of history with dignity by inviting the other races to a great world war. Bring your troops to the Seminine Islands and to Boogie Street, and we will pulverize you. When you are gone, we will build a museum. The walls will be lined with bottles of Al Ghul, your beloved beverage. Inside, we will store the odes to homosexuality called art and your microcephalus colors.
So we're not going to knock him out. I really don't want to agree with his ridiculous theory. You serve the Union, don't you? Right there, why? Okay, let's try it, see what happens. So, Measurehead, I'm new to this world. Help me understand its races. I need to know what kind of different races are there. So, Kim says, do you? And I say, this is for the thing. Yeah, obviously a liberal Sealite, the man tells him. Polyculturalist, I can see it from your love of microtechnology and your sartorial choices. Do not deny your friend the truth you have denied yourself. Sorry. There are three categories of race: type A, the heroic races; type B, the servile races; and the vile type C. C to F, race cauldron of pederasty. Which one do you need education on? Okay. Those are the Seminoles, the Aeropagi, and the Occidentals, including the Morn, of course. Morn are riddles with eczema to the point where they find it impossible to smile. They are all lactose intolerant, a common result of inbreeding. Wow. A receding genetic pool has led the Morn on reprehensible street parades in Morn cities like Stad's Canal and Fleur de Fort, wearing wooden clogs on their feet and little green tassels on their hats. Okay, got it. Who are type Type A then in your view? The Vespertines and the Messenians of Vesper and Messina, the ancient Meteorans of Meteor by the Golden Pisantic Sea, the Surinese of the Surleclef, and even the North Königsteiners all have type A race propensities. The other large mondial civilization, the Mesk, are too yellow and allegianous to count as a heroical race. True, they are violent and expansionist, but they have a glandular problem. He draws his finger across his face. Overproduction of sebum is leaking into their brains, making them listen to El Mariachi music and eat toxic mincemeat based food, which in turn only produces more sebum. And who are the Seminoles and the Arapagites in this? As proven by the Morn and the Mesk, Occidental Type A is in retrograde. The Seminoles and the Arapagite are on the ascent. Okay. And the Seminoles are indigenous people of this, the Insulindian archipelago. The Seminoles inhabit the southern islands. He gestured toward the south across the ocean. I am Seminoles from the stock of Olumbia on Isle de Phantom. And the Arapagites? The Arapagites are the master race of the Ilmaran deserts. The Seminoles are descendants of the Arapagites. We came here during a heroic migration from Ilmara to Insulinda, thousands of years before the lactose-intolerant, morn-ridden Occidentals discovered this place. Okay, what's the difference? The Arapagites are sleek, long-headed. The Seminoles are powerful, mesomorphic. The former is an immutable progenitor, unchanged since the super-solar of Pericarnasis. Pericarnasis? Okay. Ancient brains rest in their slender skulls, they fall silent, contemplating the beauty and the mystery. Then he continues. The latter is perfected, and adapting together they form Semino-Arapagite or Semiopagite super race. That is all. There are no more Type A races in the world. Type B. Type B are the unheroic races, amorphous, non-competitors of the great race. The Kojkos and the Artileas, they are mud-coloured people. Wow, okay. She's flipping it. Someone had to write all this. Okay. The Kojkos of Grad, Hugo Zemsk, Shest et al. Are what you would call white officer in suspect description. He said that Kojkos have been trying to identify them as white in official descriptions. Yes, to an untrained eye, the Kojko appear white and pinkish, like a ham sandwich. So that's what he's saying when he's saying ham sandwich, okay. But look into their eyes and you will see. He squints full of sage wisdom. They are of an indistinct colour, and so is their skin, unhealthy, muddy and ashen. Pinkness is a racial quality that is to be earned through centuries of advanced ballistic warfare and cultural domination that the Grad people have undergone for drinking algal and smoking the degenerate tobacco herb and for eating potato. Whoo-wee, wow. It sounds like something, sounds like stuff I've heard people say, but not quite as yeah, this guy wants avoiding at all costs. But anyway, the Kojko, the countless micro-nationalities of the Grad, are all inexplicably obsessed with Patat. The only thing they like more is dividing into microscopic ethnostates like political amoeba. Wouldn't he be one for ethnostates? And Valkyries you mentioned? Revicolians, halfway between Type A and the racial cauldron, too mixed to know right from wrong. You tried your degenerate little revolution, which was the single greatest failure committed by humans in our 82,000 year history on this planet. Solid number, 82,000 year history. Where does that put them from now? Like, where's their timeline compared to ours? How long? I'm interested now, I want to Google this. How long have humans been on Earth? That is the question. How long have humans been existed? Yeah, that's where we want. 200,000 years. Okay. So, which is a complete alternate universe, because their technology is obviously looks like recent history, if not maybe, yeah, probably like maybe 70s or something like that. 70s, 80s maybe. There's a lot of electronics. So yeah, it's got that search gave me nothing. Is it 82,000 years that we've been recording history? You have very little idea of what is happening, but it seems a little off. Pretty sure history hasn't lasted that long. The mysteries of the people of this planet are a tragedy that has played out countless times over, like a fever dream of skin, hair and bone. Wake up, naive chess piece. Revolution sounds like it was very good and necessary. It's like perpetrated by degenerate marauders. Not all the people are robocall. Let's try that. The revolution came to robocall from Gradin, Sarath-ridden potato carts. It is literally an illness, a prion disease that leaves the parietal and frontal lobe ridden with holes, a soft sponge-like mass of dementia, hallucinations and paranoia. The revolution is fatal familial insomnia, a hereditary prion condition passed from the code to the Occidentals. He pauses in theoretic self-reflection, but not sexually, probably through the trade routes and potato acid, the prime component of the potato plant. Enough of type B. Okay, file C to F. Type C to F are a museum of failed chimeric experiments. Oh my god. And tragic maladaptions. They are tortured creatures waiting to be put to sleep. Your morbid interest in them worries me. Yes, better not to go into it. It would be cruel, for Monogrees, to entertain ourselves with their deformities. Were there any able-bodied races you need education on? Now that we've been through all the... Okay. You understand nothing. To solve the great race enigma, you have to first ask yourself, what is the race enigma? You have not even worded the mystery, let alone solved it. How do I word the mystery? You need to internalize what you have heard here today, then return to me. This clarity does not come constantly. Okay. You serve the Union, don't you? Aren't they white? Don't be vulgar. White or not has got little to do with this. The race enigma runs much deeper than that. So it seems borderless. Yeah, but you still serve them. How does that factor in into your life? Mr. Clare is a man of vision and means. He has the will to confront polycultural capital, something your race naivistic communists never did. Also, to serve is noble. It takes discipline. Your petulant individualism has only contributed to your race failure. It is lax and moronic. I'm not really. Communism is pretty cool. Individualism is a mysterious fourth thing. Jam, individualism. You have gotten these ideas from degenerate youth culture, have you not? You have picked them up from rock and roll songs. This rock and roll style. Youth culture does not affect my thinking. Of course it does. You are a degenerate individualist and a rock and roll rebel, a pawn of international finance, just like the rest of your ham-cooked race. I'm not surprised you enjoy it so much. This has happened to many of the side products of the inevitable cultural victory of the Seminese race. Hoo-wee! Okay, what you need to do is come to terms with extinction and never get into this heartland. He looks at the button behind him. The tattoos on his face move to reveal the smallest of smiles. You still can't knock him out. Kim, what do you think about this? I think this racist is better than the last, but the next racist will be the really good one. Ah, Kim's fantastic. That will be our lucky racist. He will grant us 3 wishes. Your pedomorphic friend has quick wits. He leans into its back, protruding occiput and an indented zygomatic bone. The lieutenant does not flinch. You should keep him close. The congenital defect of fair-sightedness does not render him a complete invalid. He still has the use of his mind. Well. Thought complete volumetric shit comes. bizarre scientific news from Revocol West today, where a police officer's shit has been observed at a pressure of around 495 gigadecimals. These metallic hydrogen levels of togetherness were thought to exist only at the centre of collapsing stars, not law officials. It remains to be seen how long the shit singularity lasts. All endurance white checks unlocked. Learning cap for endurance raised for... Okay. Nice. So, that's that's the way you learn new skills. Oh, well, that's the way you learn, like, special abilities, I suppose. So you, so we should be able to go over and inspect the body now. And we've had this second thought. So you get a thought that you then, once you've, I suppose, meditated on a thought a while, then it unlocks an ability. And as far as I'm aware, most of the thoughts come with a like a benefit but a penalty. So something that something that helps you, but also something that hinders you. So let's go back to this body, and maybe we can start figuring out what's going on with this case. And apologies if this is going very slow, this game, for you, but I'm figuring it out. I'm not seeing anyone else, anything else on it. Maybe I saw a trailer before it came out, but I'm experiencing this as you're experiencing this. So yeah, just give me a little bit of leeway on maybe some of the more boring aspects while I'm trying to figure things out. So let's put this new skill to the test and see if we can't find out what's going on with this body. There he is. Okay, so now we've gone from like a 3% chance initially to just over 50%, so let's try again. Hey, we got a double 6. I get the feeling that it was going to roll us high for that, whatever, once we had that thought worked out. But anyway, so as you breathe in, the order comes over you. It's a spell of the mind telling you to run and your stomach to wring itself empty. With your hands at your sides and your eyes squinting, you stand in it. It's a puzzle. What's hanging in front of you is a puzzle of decaying flesh, tattoos and tendons. Do they always do that? They do after 7 days, yes. We're deep in composition here. Okay. So, the man before you is naked, but for a pair of underpants and enamelled boots. His skin is greenish, marbled with decaying veins and blotched by lividity. A fading web of tattoos covers his chest and shoulders. The cargo belt used to fasten him to the branch above appears industrial in strength. You can certainly see why people are saying it was the protesters, because we've got a reasonable sized group of people there, and I'm sure you could, judging by the footprints we saw earlier, we can match some footprints to the number of people there quite easily, and there's quite a few people that would match the description of like a heavy set man, and drivers as well, with the right foot being the right shoe being worn down. So you can see why this is happening, but I mean, we don't have any evidence of that. So let's inspect the boots. Let's go from the top. Oh, go from the bottom, should I say. So the material appears to be ceramic. It's clean white, stands in stark contrast to the decaying flesh above the knee. The man wore thick polymer socks, probably for padding. A fine array of interlocking plates covers them. These are clearly not boots, they're armour, possibly part of a larger set. These aren't just boots, are they? They're armour. Indeed, with his notebook under his arm, the lieutenant crouches to inspect the soles. Technically speaking, these are sabatons, not boots. The lieutenant uses a mnemotechnique A6. That's not just any notebook, it's a classic. Forget about the notebook, tell me about the armour. It's clearly some... I love that. Even the encyclopedia's got some they've got some sass about it. Anyway, it's clearly some manner of super armor, or future armor, super future armor. I'm useless. What kind of armor is this exactly? Ceramic plate, zirconium dioxide most likely. This is where the make would be. Under the heel, fair weather. He turns the boot slightly. Fair weather model T500-VE. I'm guessing that's a vitreous enamel. This is the advanced stuff. What happened to the rest of it? Knock on the boot, pull the boot off. What happened to the rest of it? The locals probably scavenged it. It would be odd if he had more on after 7 days. So finding the rest of the armour is part of part of the case, I guess. So we should keep a lookout for these pieces. The armour could yield information. He nods towards Kuno. Maybe he'll know something. Maybe he was just wearing the boots and there is no rest of the armour. Oh, understood. Yeah, that won't make any sense. So, knock on the boot. A small bell-like sound fills the air, like tapping on the side of a porcelain cup. Sound spreads out. It's anything but. This material is a kinetic redistributor. It spreads kinetic energy horizontally from plate to plate, dissipating it entirely. Points to the boots. See? Faint organic lines cover the plates where they separate into smaller ones. These plates then divide into smaller plates until there are hundreds of them all together. Like whirls of floorboards, the design looks organic, influenced by highly resistant wood materials like lignum vitae and ebony perhaps. What does this remind me of? If trees were made of porcelain, this is what their cross-sections would look like when you finger over the lines. So, the smooth glossy surface fractures into ever more intricate interconnections, peaking on the right sabaton where you notice. The holes are in the shape of a letter and number combination. E50, 100, 1000. Looks like there's a serial number on the right sabaton. Good, can you read it to me? He tips the drying ballpoint of his pen on the tongue. Success. X541567456782222. Let's lie. Why would we want to lie? I don't get why we want to lie about that. We have a maker and a number. That's something we can use the radio mic and email when we're done. Either station can chase it for us. How could this man afford such expensive hardware? That's for us to find out. He checks his notes. Mr. Garter implied he was security personnel for the harbour company, which confirms my own assumptions. Just because he's wearing the boots doesn't mean that that's who he is. But anyway, initial report. Just something I scraped together from my station, an area report on Martinez. I'm sure you did the same. These look pretty advanced for a security guard. I agree, this equipment is way beyond what a guard can afford. So let's pull the boot off. Stench fills your nostrils. As you push downward, an ominous creaking sound comes from above. Stop! The lieutenant's voice is sharp. He looks at you, with the boot under your arm. Pig's gonna pull his head off. Brutal. Brutal! Lieutenant, you seem stressed. Why? You're about to pull his head off. Do what? Pull his head off. There's no point performing an autopsy if you do. You'll have compromised the coroner's case. Indeed, from this angle it does look like the neck isn't going to take much more. Being dead for a week has all but liquefied his muscles. Ew. What are you trying to achieve anyway? Why are you hanging on that boot? It's like there's no clues inside the boot. Should have expected of that. I just thought I should try. Try what exactly? I wanted to see what happens. I don't think we should do anything just for the hell of it. Besides, the lieutenant taps on the boot. There's no way of getting them off. All the organic matter in this body has been flowing down into the boots. They're fused to his feet now. Why do you think the locals haven't scavenged them yet? Fair point. There might still be a way to peel them off, but first the body needs to be down, and second, it would probably be better if the lieutenant wasn't around. No, let's not do that. Alright then, you can pay the hostel bill in honour points. How many honour points have you collected? There are honour points? Of course there are, don't be naive. Okay, got it. Processing will take care of them. With the situation in the morgue, it will yield nothing, but we must pick our fights. He looks toward the boots. Should we continue? Back off and look at the corpse. So inspect the belt. Okay, so the hangman's knot is pulled tight by the weight of the corpse below. Yellow, hard-edged polyester cuts into its neck. Above, a sliding buckle ties the belt to the branch. So encyclopedia, this is a steel-reinforced cargo lashing belt, big brother of the regular cargo belt. It's used for tying cargo under 6-rotor airships. Interesting. Don't ask me how I know, but this is a lashing belt used for airlifting cargo. Airlifting? I thought it was used on lorries for strapping cargo to them. Apparently this is the reinforced kind for air transport. My brain tells me so. He nods. The local harbour uses 6 rotors to shuffle containers around. I get the sense they used whatever was on hand without paying much attention to not incriminating themselves. We're assuming dock workers from the harbour did it? They sure wanted him to stay up there. This rope is reinforced with steel wiring. How did they even get him? Yeah. I was afraid it would be. He rises to inspect the noose. Thin steel wire in parallel strands. This makes getting him down more problematic than I had assumed. Assuming dock workers did it. The brief suggested as much. Politically motivated by the ongoing strike. Did you not get a briefing? Yeah, okay. Okay, Blinks, you should ask me for one the moment we get... The moment we get... What? How did they even get him up there? A noose is one of those things that's easier to use one way around. Points to the buckle, tying the belt to the branch above. Did they climb up using the kid's ladder? That ladder can't carry a grown man. I didn't see any splintering either, did you? I think they lassoed the branch, then pulled on the belt to close the buckle. He makes a pulling motion. Could be. The shape of the branch supports the theory. Okay. Inspect the... Oh, okay. We looked him in the eye. His eyes are milky white and blind to the world, protruding comically from their sockets. There is no one home, just subaquatic terrors there. These eyes used to be blue, baby blue. Okay. Dark brown hair grows on his head. His face is ready to explode from the organic processes inside. The death's head grin has passed. What remains is an unrecognisable mess. Low chance. Oh, tell me, tell me, who are you, dead man? His eyes, they used to be blue. Okay, good. The victim is of Occidental descent. He scribbles in his notebook. Light brown hair, blue eyes. When he says Occidental, he means white. Originally from the Occidental subcontinent on Monday. Okay. Now, tattoos. An intricate web of blue lines stretches across the torso. From the right shoulder to the solar plexus, each time they intersect, a small white star is formed in their crossing. Hundreds of fading asterisks riddle his skin. Their concentration is highest around his heart. So is this a map of the night sky? Is this a microelectronic system? Is this a national plan? So what does it say? Is it a map of the night sky? A map of the stars. Who turns around to breathe it before inspecting it closer? I do see some similarity to astronomical charts. Great century Messinian maybe, but this seems more particular, customised somehow. As if someone has left out most of the night sky, filtering it through personal choice. The principle of this filter remains unknown to you. The thought dissipates and you feel as though you were only half right. I'm missing something here. So am I. A sudden ringing fills the air as Lieutenant pulls down the zipper of his orange jacket. He wears a wide leather belt around his waist and a gun holster under his arm. He takes a thin piece of milled aluminium from his coat pocket and pulls open. Sounds like a sword being unsheathed. A small lens appears, some sort of camera. What's that? A Trigat Sunshine Mini. Trigat is the world's leading manufacturer of intercommunication devices, primarily projectors. Camera before you looks familiar somehow. You know, what the F is that? I love how these kids are still just watching what's going on. An instant colour camera. He produces 2 metal capped ampoules and clicks them into place on the side of the apparatus. Thin slot shines there. Now I'm Americanizing apparatus. I have only 2 ampoules, so nobody move. I don't want to waste one. He points the camera at the corpse, peering into it. The lens needs adjusting then. Whoa. A shrill flash, followed by the breaking of a small ampoule of glass. You see streams of colour pour into the thick, glossy piece of paper rolling out. On it, a colour-perfect copy of the dead man's tattooed chest, in case we need it, the lieutenant says, and shakes the paper, letting it dry in the cold wind. Cool machine. Yes, he slides the camera closed and tucks it away in his belt. It's pretty cool, isn't it? There's only one ampoule left. Use it wisely. What do we need this photo for? Contains insight to the victim's person. By his build, I'd say this was a man of physical violence. The story he wanted his body to tell was important to him. It is his letter to us. Someone should decipher it. We'll need to show it around. Okay, can I have it later? I should look at it later without the pause now. Sure, just don't lose it. He hands you the piece of rolled up photo paper. It's no larger than a pack of cigarettes. Glassy-eyed corpse looks by his mouth, mute, and his skin as colourful as the chemical rainbow on the photo paper, teeming with opportunistic organisms. Okay. Tell me, who are you, dead man? I still love that. Squint and take a step back. As you narrow your eyes, the monster before you blurs into a violent mess of green and pink. This is a trick. You've done it before. Pink is where the blood settled in the first hours post-mortem. You can use it to see if the corpse has been tampered with. Does his position at the time of death match the discoloration? Only the lower extremities are pink with a dash of blue. His fatted hands and thighs and his neck just above the noose. The rest of the corpse appears dark green in the cold spring of his face and hands are pink, thighs too. I see it here, just his glasses. His neck too, the lividity goes right up his chin. We have good, well-pronounced discoloration here. Relax your eyes. The monster comes back into focus, an explosion of colour, coursing with dark marbled veins. His stomach appears pregnant with something. Black liquid streams down his thigh and onto his boot. So what do you think? I think he's dead. I think he was upright after death. His hands, feet and neck are discoloured. Something is coming out of him. He's beaten up. You see bruises. I think he was upright after death. Okay, yeah. Agreed. He points to the belt, especially on the neck. The belt acted like a tourniquet, keeping the blood in his head. The hypostasis supports are hanging. Yep, seems like a lynching to me. Everything here seems to corroborate that assumption, but we should still get him down before assigning a probable cause of death. Okay. So, something is coming out of him. A pool of blood and feces has eaten into the frozen mud below the man's feet. Purged liquid is dripping into it drop by drop. The victim appears to have contained no more than half a kilogram of digestion at the time of death. The FE saying, talking about, okay, so, we got lucky. Did we? I don't feel lucky. I don't know, I'm just clicking it to be honest. He's beaten up, see the bruises? I do, most of them are post-mortem, maybe even all of them. The delinquents have made our jobs harder with their little sport. Stop talking in riddles, coin slot. Coin slot? I'm saying some of this stuff and probably some of it's actually worse than I'm thinking at the time of saying it, but anyway. He means you effed him up good, Kuno, the girl yells. Effed him up brutal like. Okay, back off and catch your breath. So how do we get him down? He stops to think and then checks his notes. Are you sure we finished the preliminary examination of the cadaver? We might miss some of these things once he's down. Okay. Oh, we may as well try this, haven't we? Oh. Yeah, I think we've done. The steel reinforced belt presents a unique challenge. I brought chain cutters, but I don't see a good angle of approach to the belt. He doesn't actually think the challenge is unique. He thinks it's frustrating, annoying, and harder than he thought. The cadaver is a good 1.2 meters up. Neither one of us can reach the belt without assistance, and even if we do, there's a question of cutting the airship strength material. So, could someone else do it? We could saw the branch. Yeah, we could saw the branch. Climb up there and saw the branch. It seems dangerous. Has to be a less risky way without falling down off trees. Okay. Ask for help from the harbour. I was really hoping we wouldn't. The Uni appear to be suspects in this case. It seems like a dangerous route to go down. Yeah, wait, let's reconsider. Can't shoot him. Maybe we could shoot him down? Yeah, the enthusiasm is unrestrained. Bang bang time, pig shoot his head off. The lieutenant remains unaffected. How? Where the buckle ties the rope to the branch, that's a good spot to aim. There, the buckle holds the belt together. Where, he corrects his ah, yes, I see. If the shot hits there, it might be a chance to release the belt. Yeah, take the shot, Lieutenant, let's see what happens. I'll blow his head off. Take it, take the shot. Take the shot. Silence, with his elbows sharp, the lieutenant unzips his jacket. This is a lightweight firearm. He drops a paper cartridge in the barrel, separates the scouring stick and gives the cartridge 5 tugs. Secure it in place. That's the Kegel A990 Armistice mass-produced muzzleloader. Aesthetic, frugal, one of the most common firearms in the world. I suppose if we'd have done this before, going to his vehicle, we could have probably described that weapon to convince our colleagues that we hadn't lost our gun. But anyway, and steps back and assumes the phallus test position, taking aim. The corner of his eye twitches, his finger on the trigger. Easy does it, partner. He's gonna... Oh. Kid's voice is drowned in a shrill blast that echoes off the walls of the surrounding tenements. A cloud of smoke slowly parts in the air as Lieutenant steps back and says to himself, God damn it. A lot of things were wrong with that shot. The phallus test was the wrong choice. His shoulders were raised, but above all, he cannot trust his eyesight. Okay. It's okay, man. Kuno's sorry too. Kuno feels sorry for the man. The lieutenant doesn't say a word, just looks at his gun in his hand. Try again, maybe? No, we're lucky as it is. We didn't break anything, and the victim remains uncompromised. Looks around at the windows overlooking the yard. Any more mistakes could put us in an unfortunate position with the locals. We have eyes on us. I didn't do us any favours with that. Okay, what now? I have to say, it's beginning to look unlikely we can get him down without assistance. Can I have a gun? I should try. As bad as it is, okay. I'm not stopping you. Okay. Feel the weight first. The cold piece of bakelite and gunmetal is surprisingly light. Your finger fits right through the guard, instinctively resting on the trigger. You've held this, a P9 Armistice, before. At some point it probably used to be your choice of firearm. Still feels comfortable, like you never laid it down. Point the gun in the belt. The buckle comes into focus in your sights. You stand with your feet planted firmly at the ground and your left hand's upon your gun arm. Okay. No coordination, pull the trigger, 42%. Point the gun at Kuno, yes? No. Close left eye first. The field of view narrows, the branch slowly moves, becoming entirely two-dimensional. The metal buckle glimmers, slick with falling rain, the cock slowly rotates. The slow movement of the branch to the wind on your shoulders, directing the gun sync up, dancing hypnotically. So we get a better chance after closing one eye. Should we say shut up as well? Does that improve his chances? Oh, what, you're gonna... Okay, so... 58%? Let's do it. He's down. Oof, I think that was just... It's 6. It's a 7, sorry. The buckle explodes into tiny pieces, coming loose with a whir. With your hand numb from the recoil, you look at the body slumped down. For a moment, the man appears to kneel in front of you. Then the rigour in his muscles gives up, and he smashes sideways onto the springboard, letting out a horrid stench. Okay. You've been policed. As is high, the lieutenant raises his right hand, waiting for you to slap it. Okay, so the ace is high, a custom invented by the aerostatic brigades during the revolution. It is used to celebrate success in Revocol, especially in sports. The gesture is spread across the world despite defeat of the revolutionaries themselves. You could add an ace's low to it if you like, by turning your back after the high and waiting for another. Yeah. The high arrives with a sharp slap. As you turn around, there's a moment of doubt. Feels like the low ain't gonna connect. Chill, it's gonna connect. But then it does, and with furious precision. The lieutenant is not one to leave an ace's low hanging. I knew these guys were... Okay, his voice is deeply approving. What now? We'll perform a field autopsy and determine the cause of death, but before, excuse me, he turns to, he needs to turn away from the corpse. Slumped on the ground like that has not improved the way the corpse smells. The fall seems to have released something deep inside it. It looks like I feel like taking a break from the stench. I'm sorry to interrupt the jubilations here. Just need a little breather before the autopsy. Wait, field autopsy? Alright, give him back his gun. In the meanwhile, we should try to interview Everett Clare, the leader of the Union. Harbour property was clearly used in the hanging. Points to the belt. The harbour just east of here. Getting it in might prove a challenge here. Or we could ask around for the representative of the logistics company. My initial information says the Wild Pines have sent some sort of strike negotiator to wrangle control back from Everett. Okay, so we could ask the garden for directions. Cool. Is this the famous list of initial interviews? Yes, he nods slowly, and those were the interviewees. Let's go. Whew. Right then. Oh, what's this box over here? Didn't see that. Money. And magnesium. Okay. So we've got the rope. We've got these two. Oh, what? Can we get him in here with the pry bar, I wonder? Why am I looking at the pile of roofing material? Because there's a secret door hidden behind the panels of Eternite. That's why they're too oddly. Pull the panels aside. Interesting. What's this then? A tool shed. He peeks inside. Let's investigate. Yeah, let's. First off though, we've got another skill point. Logic, volition, composure. So we did perception last time, didn't we? So I feel like I feel like logic's going to be useful. Okay, level up logic. We've got new tools, okay. Excellent. And what's this? Oh, the photo. What's the meaning of this tattoo? You discover you've gotten as far as you will without assistance. Someone who knows about history could tell you. Who are you? Gone. Okay. Someone who knows about history, so maybe the book, the girl, or the mum at the bookstore, potentially. Okay. And we've got another thought here, haven't we? Advanced race theory. Temporary research boat. So that's an hour and 40 minutes. Oh, we should have done that, shouldn't we? S is low. This will allow us to pass, won't it? So, should we do that? I mean, I can see that having some pretty negative consequences on us, but hey, we have no idea what's going to happen in this game, so interesting. So, secret room, what have we got? Okay. Of bone yellow powder. The lieutenant isn't studying the powder in the mirror, he's studying you. There's a good vague way to ask where he stands on drug use professionally, I mean. Someone has taken narcotics here, perhaps. I wasn't thinking about taking it, so I was thinking about justice. I have heard amphetamines make you a really good detective. Are you a really good detective? Perhaps not, he looks at you. This is below our pay grade, detective. However, he points to the ladder in the corner. See that ladder there? It's probably another way into the industrial harbour now, a secret path the local kids use. Okay. Wait, does that mean I don't have to internalise that thought about... I would really rather not do that, so... That's where... Okay. So, whoa, before you go up there, so what are these things? Okay, yeah. Someone left his tarpaulin cloak hanging on the railing here. When the wind ruffles the cloak, you can most definitely see a white rectangle in its back. Yeah, it's probably yours. It bears the RCM insignia and you have a habit of being careless with your equipment. He judges the drop. You could probably make the jump. You look like you've done some track and field. Doesn't seem too dangerous. 2 meters tops, wherever you already. I'll be right behind you. I don't like the 42% odds. Look around. Wind is aggressive up here. The lieutenant looks at the enormous crane towering the distance over the container yards. Is it? He looks at you impressed. Falson makes a lot of heavy equipment. This is phenomenal even for them. Go for it. I hope we don't, like, die. Success! As you leap in the air, chilly breeze engulfs you. Close your eyes, let your senses take them. No, we don't want to close our eyes while we're jumping. As the concrete floor welcomes you, you realise it's been a while since you felt so alive, alert, capable. Must be the adrenaline. I knew you could do it, the lieutenant exclaims. My climbing down might not have been as disco as your jump, but at least we can explore the harbour now. With your feet firmly planted on the concrete, the noise of the harbour rushes back in. Can we unthink this thought? Stop. Yeah, okay. I think it's the harbour he was stopping us from going from. Okay, let's get his jacket back. That gives us shivers as well. That gives us physical instrument. That gives us -1 suggestion. Now we look like an American TV cop, don't we? Lieutenant's handkerchief. Ticket set case. Tools. Okay, key to room number 1. Interesting. Right. Onwards. What's in there? I wonder. Strange buzzing sounds from the radio. A giant ass print on the pillow and a pattern of coffee rings on the armrest. Sounds familiar. Coffee machine on. Okay. File cabinet. On second glance, someone has forgotten to properly close one of the drawers. It's unfortunate for the Union to just leave their paperwork lying around like this. Drawer opens smoothly. Inside is a well-organised selection of brown folders. Hundreds of documents containing logistical data. 2 kinds of transactions stand out. Materials coming in to Revocol from the outside world, from Monday, Grad, and even is that Lil Islemara, and the same materials being handed over to companies inside Revocol. Coron, Coal City, La Delta, and Jamrock are listed among the many districts where the imports are being sold. Anything interesting? It's hard to make sense of this thicket of company names, dates, quantities, and percentages. Try to focus, but the lines are getting blurry. We've got low chance of that. Yeah, okay. Hermeneutics was almost within your grasp, but now only vague letters float before your eyes, less meaningful but aesthetically more pleasing. Could I actually focus through not focusing? You're a police officer, not a spiritual healer. You can focus the normal way by turning your attention to something and not letting go. Okay, leave the folders alone for now. Okay. So next time we get a level up, we can maybe come back. Okay. So the dock workers are the prime suspects. But again, we have no... It's all circumstantial evidence at the moment, so we can't really say for certain. Surprisingly quiet thunk. The harbour sleeps as the strike rages in the distance. The crane can rest again now that its purpose has been fulfilled. Understood. Faint smell of burning rubber reaches your nostrils, a short circuit. Can't see how that was worth the ruckus, he looks at the crane, except for seeing the crane in action, which I admit was satisfying. Okay, what's it? I mean, we can look in the crate, can't we? Which, don't know, could provide something. Kim, I think there's something about this container. You do? Because I don't. What, why not? There are a million containers here. Why are you fixating on this one? It's hanging from the crane. Yeah, well that's true, but yeah, whatever. Open the door. Attempt to turn the handle to no avail. The doors seem to be mechanically locked. Knock on the door. The knock produces a hollow ring of metal. Doesn't sound like there's anything inside the container. Okay. Smells like blood. Okay. Oh, double click to run. Oh my days, that's so nice. Yes, yes, run. Before you is a walrus of man seated behind a large desk. He looks up from his work, not the least bit surprised to see you. With great effort, he straightens himself up in his chair, yet says nothing. He simply stares at you, with a mixture of expectation and impatience well bottled. In charge of the dock workers? Let's get straight to business. Bit of murder. Okay.
Welcome, Mr. Dubois, Mr. Kitsuragi. It's good of you two to stop by. Please, have a seat. I'm Everard Clare, head of the Debargeurs Union here in Martinez.
Okay.
I'd offer you my hand, but unfortunately my health prevents me from getting up. You understand?
You go ahead, detective.
Whatever he has in store for you, it can't be good, you think, so I'll do my best. Forget about that what's with this boy stuff. You're getting some seriously bad vibes from that name.
Excellent, Mr. Dubois. I can see that you're a reasonable man, and reasonable men can be of great use to one another.
What the hell? This guy's slimy as all. But anyway.
So tell me, how can the head of the Debargeurs Union help a representative of the Revachol Citizens Militia today?
Whoa, Revachol Citizens Militia. Okay. Damaged health. Health critical. Where's my items? Can I use my items? I don't think I can. That sounds like a heart attack. Is that him? Cop suffers final heart attack. Oh my days. Well.